Hi, everyone. I see a bunch of people in the chat already, so let me say hi. Hi, Larry. Hi, Missy. Sorry about your foot. I hope it feels better soon. Hi, Craig. How are you? Good morning, John. Hi, Olga. How are you? It's funny, I read your comment just before I went live, and everybody is fed, even the dogs. I didn't feed the dogs because I took a little nap, which I don't usually do, but I took a nap. So I didn't have time to feed the dogs. So Jeff's going to have to do that when he gets home, but that's okay. They will survive. So you'll get to see the feeding frenzy, I guess. All right. Hi, Lisa. How are you? Craig, I think I said hi to you. But if not, hi again. Hi, Dawn. That's how short my memory is, right? Like, goodness gracious. Hi, Leanne. How are you? All right. Hi, Janine. How are you? So, um, nobody from Facebook. If you're watching from Facebook, can you uh, leave a comment? Let me know that I'm streaming there. Sometimes Facebook does some weird things. So, just in case you don't know, I say this a lot, but just in case you don't know, usually what I do, well, not usually, all the time, I have a software that I use, StreamYard, so that I can stream in two different places. So I'm on YouTube and on Facebook on my business page. And it streams into this one area. So I can see who's from YouTube and who's from Facebook. So it kind of gives me an idea. Okay, I got a thumbs up from Facebook. Hi, Linda. All right, good, good. Okay. So that's all I need to know. And everybody can hear me. Okay. I'm sure you would say if you couldn't. Hi, Jen. How are you? Hi, Juliet. How are you? Hi, Connie. Hi, Kathy. Hi, DK. I think I missed. Hi, Sylvia. How are you? Hi, George. Good morning. I was saying good morning. Good evening. It's late where you are, isn't it? Um, okay. So I got a comment that I'm going to say this right now for everybody who watches the replay, that if you watch the replay, that's great. I love it. But I can't say hi to you on the replay. So, because I'm not live anymore. So if you don't think I say hi to you, or you don't think I acknowledge a question, it is not intentional. I promise you, you're watching the replay most likely. The other thing is maybe I missed it. And if I did, I apologize. You can always send your questions directly to me, Louise at thesaltedpepper.com. Okay. If I don't get to them when we're live. Hi, Kathy. How are you? Connie, did I say hi? Hi, Connie. All right. Let's see. Hey, Joni. How are you? Hi, Crystal. How are you? Oh, no. So there's foot issues going on. Missy's hurt her foot. Crystal twisted her ankle. My goodness. So, okay. I like to start off sometimes with failures, right? Because we all have them in the kitchen. And I had a funny thing happen to me yesterday. Was it yesterday or today? No, it was this morning. See? My memory. Anyway, it was this morning. So if you guys remember, if you were here 2 weeks ago, I did those peanut butter blondies. I think it was 2 weeks ago. It could have been a month ago. Could have been a month and a half. I don't know. But anyway, I did those peanut butter blondies because I wanted a little dessert. I didn't know if it was going to turn out to be cake or it was going to turn out to be brownies. They definitely turned out to be brownies. They were absolutely delicious. So they went into the testing phase, which during the testing phase of my recipes, they get tested at least 2 more times. So if the first one went beautifully, as this one did, I count that as test 1. Then it has 2 more tests at least. And if they all go perfectly, then it goes into the video. So then we shoot the video. Now, usually, almost always, something goes wrong during the video. It just happens. But anyway, so I'm in test 2, right? And I get up this morning and I've got a whole agenda of things that I'm going to be doing today. And so testing this peanut butter blondie recipe, and I wanted to do it in the combi. I've already done it in the oven. So now I want to do it in the combi, and I want to see what the time difference is so that I can give instructions. Now, this wouldn't be one I would do in the foodie because of the size pan, wouldn't really fit in the foodie. So anyway, so I picked the combi. Okay, they looked beautiful. And I was so amazed because in the oven, it was 325 degrees for about 45 minutes. In the combi, it was combi crisp. I think that's what it's called, combi crisp, which is a short steam followed by a dry heat. And they only took, let's say 20 minutes, because let's say that the preheat, the steam part was 5 minutes. It's like 3 to 5 minutes. And then baking was 15 minutes. I was like, wow, this is really going to save time. So I got them out. They're beautiful. They smell good. They cool down. And I do have like a frosting that goes on top, like a peanut butter fudge kind of thing that goes on top. But I thought, well, I'm going to taste them. Thank goodness I did. They were horrible. I mean, sawdusty, cakey, nasty, disgusting. Worst thing in the world. I didn't even have peanut butter flavor. None. I put the peanut butter in. I know I did. I measured it out. I know I did. I'm like, what in the world? So then I'm thinking, man, I wrote the recipe down wrong or something when I did it the first time, or something went wrong somewhere along the line, obviously, because it was night and day. So they went in the trash. I mean, they were that bad. Usually I can salvage things. And they didn't taste very sweet, and they had no peanut butter flavor. And I'm like, what did I do wrong? So I told Jeff, I said, I don't know what I did, but I really screwed this recipe all up. And I got it. I don't even know. Like, it's so gross. And I was so disappointed because these I thought were going to be boom, 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 easy peasy. And I'm going to get a recipe out. It's going to be so easy. I forgot the brown sugar. So it calls for white sugar and brown sugar. Well, I skipped right over that brown sugar, skipped right on over it. And let me tell you, whoa, not good. So we have fails. I hate throwing food away, but you know what? Sometimes you just have to. When it's that bad, I guess I could have fed it to the chickens, but they deserve good food too, right? So I threw it away. Anyway, so we all fail, but you can't fail if you don't try. So I always encourage people to try, push your limits a little bit, try things that you want to make. Now, if you don't want to make it, don't push your limits to make it. But if it's something you want to make, like let's say bread, you want to make bread. Maybe you've tried and you failed a couple times. It's probably something very simple to fix that will get you on the road to success. Now, the first couple of loaves of bread that you bake are very doubtful to be perfect, right? The first pan of brownies I baked in my life was probably from a box mix. I doubt they were perfect. I would follow the box mix directions. Now, if I make a box mix, which I haven't in years, but if I was to make a box mix, I know now, drop your heat to 325 and bake them just a little bit longer. It creates a little bit fudgier of a brownie. These are things you learn from doing. So I encourage everybody in March. We're at the end of February. So in March, pick one thing that you've always wanted to make and start to do a little research on how to make it. You can shoot me emails if you want. You can do, of course, Google searches. Pick one thing that you want to try to make. And then let's check in with each other over the month of March and see how it's going. So I'll really be excited if anybody takes me up on this. So pick something that you've always wanted to make, and maybe it seems intimidating. Let me tell you, when you break down almost anything to simple steps, it's no longer intimidating. So if you need help with that, I am all for it. All right, let's go back up. We've got a lot of people that joined in. I didn't say hi. I'm going to do that quickly. Hi, Sharon. How are you? Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Robin. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Jane. How is everybody doing? I don't see any questions yet, but hopefully we'll get to some. Let's see. Going down. Hi, Anna. How are you? Connie laughed out loud when I said, ooh, it was nasty, gross. All right. Hi, Barbara. Good evening. Good morning. It's evening here. Okay, Leanne. So this is a good question. So the Combi, kind of like the Ninja Foodie OL series, what is it? The 50, well, there's 500, 501, 601, 701. In the OL series, and the Combi has the same kind of functions. They call it Combi Crisp, Combi Bake. On the Ninja, it's called Steam Bake, I think, and Steam Crisp. The reason is because I don't want 20 minutes of steam going, and that's how long the preheat is for the Combi Bake. It's about 20 minutes. I don't want that long of a steam for a brownie. So I want a boost of steam, which really helps like get it to rise and start doing its thing. But then I want it to dry out. and I want dry heat for the rest of the bake. I use Combi Crisp for all my bread too. I find that that's enough. I may play around with Combi Bake and bread, but to be honest, 20 minutes of steam in that small space is quite a bit. And I'm just not sure. I know when I did steam bake with bread in the Ninja Foodie, and it was horrible. Like it never recovered, it never crisped up. It was like a gelled outside. It was just really not the kind of bread I was trying to make, obviously, because who would want to make gelled bread? Probably nobody. So that's why Combi Crisp, because it's a much shorter steam time, and I only use a quarter of a cup of water. I could probably use a little bit more, which would keep that steam going a little bit longer, but I just want a short burst and then be done. And it seemed to work. I mean, it's worked well for me. Okay. Now, will it work another way? Yeah, of course. I was thinking about this the other day, and I think I'm going to create a meme on it or something, because the only correct answer to a cooking question is it depends. And I'm not even joking. It depends, because there are so many variables when you're cooking and so many different things. Like I tend to make higher hydration breads for myself. Those are not the breads that are on my website because they're a little bit more difficult. And so we have to, get up to that. I'm not even that great at them. But higher hydration, up to 100% hydration, is a very wet dough. They have to cook longer. So steam really helps start that process. I don't even know why I was talking about high hydration bread. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But that depends. So like, how long do I bake my loaf of bread? Well, I am the worst dog mom. Excuse me. I let my dog out 20 minutes before we went live, and I forgot about him. Whoops. Bad dog mom. Be right back. Callie, you want to go outside? Come on, Callie, your turn. Come on, Gussie. Gus, come on. Gus, what are you doing? Oh my gosh. Now you won't come in? Oh. Come on, Gus, where are you? What are you doing? I hear you barking. Gus. Oh boy. Come on. Uh-oh. All right, let me ring the doorbell. Oops. Okay. Just bark for a minute, Callie. Come on, Gus. Oh boy. Well, I've really messed up now. Hey, George. Come on, Gus. Don't do this to me. Come on. Come on, the light's on. It's time to come in. Come on. Oh my goodness. Okay, he was just barking outside. Literally, I could hear him. And now he is nowhere to be found. Okay, let me send a message to Jeff. Okay. Gus ran away. I think I heard the neighbor yell at him. See, okay, I'm a terrible dog mom. I'm so embarrassed right now because that does not happen to me. Anyway, I don't usually forget my dogs. I did. Oh my gosh, we're derailed. We're derailed right now because I think I heard the neighbor yelling at him. I gotta get him in. Stop. Shoot, why in the world did I forget him? he must have seen something. Oh, well. All right. My goodness. Well, he won't go anywhere. Like, he won't run away, literally. My concern is that he saw an animal or something. My heart's pounding. That's my little baby. And I forgot him. Oh my God. I'm so horrible. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm nervous. I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous because the reason why I remembered him is because he was right out there barking. And I remembered him. I was like, oh, but now he's not there. This is bad. Oh gosh. And Callie won't even go out. Sometimes if Callie goes out, she'll get him because he loves her and he'll come run into her. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Hi, Kat. How are you? So Gus is having fun. The issue is we don't have fences, right? We live in the middle of nowhere. We don't have fences. So I don't let them out unsupervised usually. But sometimes I'll let one out at a time, in the evening. But I pay attention and I let him back in. And I totally forgot. I literally forgot about him. Okay. He's not food. John's saying Clang is food bowl. He's not food motivated. Like I ran the doorbell. All right, Missy's got a question. Louise, can you make a cheesecake or a chocolate chip cake but then it cut off. So maybe there's something else. I know last time you asked about a microwave. I mean, technically you can cook anything in a microwave, but like making something like a cheesecake, you would have to have certain controls on your microwave. You'd also want to put it in a water bath. A chocolate chip cake, you could probably do in a microwave, but I don't know how to cook in a microwave, okay? I can barely pop popcorn in a microwave. I've never liked a microwave. I don't like the way it heats. I don't like the way it cooks. Sometimes I'll use it to reheat things, very seldom. So I really can't tell you, give instructions on a microwave, if it's even the microwave you want. All right, guys, I got to call him again. Now I'm nervous. I got kind of a crotchety neighbor. Ugh. And Gus. Oh boy. This is not good. This is not good. I'm sorry. I'm asking Jeff what time he'll be home because we got to find our dog. Okay. And if you're saying, oh gosh, get off here, go find your dog. It's not like that. I really can't just go find him. He kind of has to come home on his own because we're on 16 acres. It's a lot of woods. So like I could drive down the road, but he's going to come home before that. Like he doesn't run away. He's not going to run away. He knows where his food is, right? Maybe. Okay, real quick. Oh, good. I think Jeff's home. Nope. We have like 2 cars that go down our road a day. Callie, come here, honey. Callie, come on. Come on. Callie's a good girl. Where's Gus? Callie's a good girl. Where's Gus? Come on. Okay, come on, Callie. Oh, crap. Now I got Gus. Come on, Gus. There you are. There you are. There you are. All right. All right. All's good in the neighborhood. Now, Callie's outside. I got Gus in though. All right. Okay. Oh, thank goodness. I'm not the worst mom in the world, but I'm not good. Okay. Okay. Now, I will not forget about Callie. She doesn't go anywhere though. She's like 108 years old. She'll just go out and do her business and she'll want right back in. And if I even say the word treat, she'll be at the door. So I don't worry about her. Okay. That was a little nerve-wracking. I got to be honest. Okay. Sharon, I can't put my dog outside. A coyote would have her in no time. Well, we have tons of coyotes. Gus is kind of like badass though. Like he's this tall, this big, but he's whew. So I don't really worry about that. I mean, it's a concern, but I don't really worry too much about that. But again, I don't just leave him out there, right? I mean, my goodness, I don't do that, but I did. Okay. Anyway, oh my gosh, Kat, that's so funny. Mine has me trained. He won't come in unless he sees a treat in my hand. I wish that Gus was food motivated, but he's not at all. He's not at all. All right, George, my pressure release pin, not the valve, on the 2-lid model keeps sticking. I know I can look at the course for the info, but keep forgetting. Is it possible to remove the pin and clean it? Okay, no, don't remove the pin, but under the pin, turn the lid over, under the pin, there is a cap. It's a silver cap. Pop that off. And then run hot water all through the lid, get a little soapy brush, wash around the pin. That should take care of the problem, George. I've had that happen. Like if I'm making things that are maybe a little stickier, kind of like starchy stuff, would be a prime example, like pasta or whatever. And that can happen, but cleaning it will be fine. And it'll work, but don't take the whole pin apart or anything. Okay. Yeah, Sherry, I know. I got the dog. Okay. Okay, let me get Callie in before I have another freak out, right? Come on, girl. Oh, you're at the door because I know you. You don't want to be outside. You don't want to be outside when you could be in your chair sleeping. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We're all good. We're all good. All right. Yes, Terry, found the dog. Okay. All right, here we go. Now I've got a lot of dogs, a lot of dog things. Sherry, I can't watch this. She'll trust me. I'm not leaving my dog outside like that. I was going to get him. Don't worry. Jeff usually is home by now. Anyway, okay, we got the dog. Okay. All right, let's see. All right. Well, Sherry, I'm sorry if you didn't stick around, but I'm not gonna not get my dog. I can do both. I can't go out and look for the dog in the dark like that. That's not even, if you guys are, I'm not saying you guys, but I don't think everybody understands where I live. So that's not even, you can't find a dog like that around here. So anyway, all good. We got the dog back. Okay, let's go. Oh, great. Okay, so I got a message from M earlier today asking about the stew, and it was perfect. Okay, so any advice on bread? I followed your recipe, but I did something wrong because it came out like a sponge. Gosh, I don't know without kind of troubleshooting that a little bit better. I'm not really sure. I mean, there's so many different things that could go wrong. That bread recipe on my website is a very basic bread dough, and it's more made for a sandwich bread. It's a lower hydration. We do a low bake. It doesn't get a lot of color. It's not fancy. It's not an artisan type of bread with a crunchy exterior. It's nothing like that. So it's probably not the best recipe if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for just a basic bread, it's your first time making bread, that's what it's designed for. It's just for an easy beginner bread. But I don't know why it would come out like a sponge. It sounds like it wasn't, maybe it didn't proof enough, but maybe it didn't bake long enough. So I'd have to have more information though, Em. Hi, Terry, how are you? All right. All right. Let's see. Larson, it's all good. Thanks. So, gosh. Sylvia, that's a concern, but I would hear that outside. I would be able to hear that. I would know if he was in trouble. I wouldn't have even come back in. Like, you just would have. I just would have been gone. He wasn't in trouble. Like, I know my dog. I know my house. I know my yard. I know what goes on around here. You can hear if things are not right. It was silent, which means my little Gussie Goo is running around peeing on every tree that any squirrel has gotten near, anything like that. So trust me, I do know my animals, and I knew he wouldn't run away. And I knew nothing was wrong, but I don't want to leave him out there either. So anyway, I don't want this whole thing to be taken up with my dog. If you don't agree with my parenting, then that's fine. We can agree to disagree. It's fine. But anyway, I feel terrible. Oh, trust me. Okay. I feel terrible for forgetting him. That was my big thing. Okay. But you know what? It kind of irritates me a little bit. And I'm not getting judgment here. I'm not saying that you guys are, because I'm not, but it kind of irritates me. It kind of reminds me of like people who don't know somebody else's situation, giving them judgment. You don't know where I live. You don't know the circumstances. You don't know my dog. You don't know. There's so many things you don't know. So you really can't pass judgment, right? I mean, we shouldn't pass judgment on anybody for anything because we are not them and we don't live their life. Okay. All right, here we go. George says, I don't think I've ever seen Louise move so fast. I know, right? Oh gosh. Oh, and Kat saying when the dog bolted by, right? So Gus, as soon as he comes in, he's like, he doesn't care. He doesn't even know that like he freaked me out. He just goes running back there because he wants to see the cats and everything. It's crazy. Okay. Now let's move on. Doggy drama over, right? Hi, Janine. Did I say hi to you earlier? I'm not even sure. Cat off the table. Okay, where was my cat? I don't even know. On the pool table, probably. And I don't agree with a cat getting on the counter, but if you have cats, you know it's very impossible almost to keep them off of there. But we don't allow it, so to speak, right? Yeah, George, clean around that pin. So it will fix it because when you clean the cap on the inside, that goes to let me grab one. Hold on a second. Let me grab one. Oh, I see what you mean because it's kind of closed. I see what you mean, George. But anyway, and that's to the valve anyway. I mean, I'm a dummy. I haven't used this model in a long time. So basically what we're talking about, what George is talking about is right here, this pin. Okay. So if you push it in, it will pop out. Just clean it really well. It's going to be fine. If you clean your lid really well, it will stop sticking. Unless you have something that's impeding it actually in the pot. That's happened to me. In fact, it just happened to me when I was making tamales. I was steaming them in the two lid model. And you cover the tamales with more of the corn husks. And so the corn husks were kind of like in a place that wasn't allowing the pin to kind of move freely. So that can happen, but I doubt that's your issue. I think it's probably just sticky, but if you clean around it, it should be fine. I wouldn't take the pin assembly apart, but you know what? If you're mechanically inclined and you can see how to do it, I wouldn't even know how to do it. I guess you can, but because it moves back and forth, you can get water through there. So you can just take a little brush and clean around it. That would be my recommendation. Put it in the dishwasher. You can put your whole lid in the dishwasher. The pressure lid can go right in the dishwasher if you have a dishwasher. Okay. Hi, Mary. How are you? Jake, this is a good question. What is your favorite breakfast dish to make in the foodie? I don't make breakfast in the foodie, hardly ever. Um, I don't make breakfast a whole lot, to be honest with you, but it would probably be some sort of like an egg casserole. Like I have a overnight egg casserole, so it's really easy. You can set it up overnight, cooks on low, and then when you wake up, you've got your breakfast is there for you. Jeff makes it. He makes like scrambled eggs and bacon and all kinds of stuff. Like he makes all kinds of stuff in the foodie. Me, I just don't like the pot. It's deep. So if I'm going to scramble eggs, I'm going to use the stove. I mean, that's just me. But I'm sure other people probably make more things than I do. You know what's good though is I've made this before is toast with an egg. Toad in the hole is what we call it, but it means something totally different in the UK. But for us, it's called toad in a hole. I think it's called toad in a hole, right? Yeah, I think so. And it's an egg inside of a piece of toast, basically. Egg in a basket's another word for it, another term for it. Hi, Barb. How are you? Hi, Linda. How are you? All right. So, Larry, this is going to be the answer. It depends. How can I convert a recipe for the combi to my speedy? It depends on what the recipe is. So, the combi works very similar to the speedy, but we have a little bit different of a shape, which conducts heat a little bit differently. But for the most part, just do it exactly like you would in the speedy in the combi. Okay. You might need to adjust your timings and temperatures just a little bit to get the perfect results. I find the combi cooks a little bit faster than the speedy. But if you're looking at your food, you're gonna know, you're gonna be fine. Okay, so basically they're gonna be almost a direct conversion. Okay, almost. Uh, but it really does depend. All right. Jane, can you proof bread in the two-lid foodie? Yes, you can. You can do that a couple of ways. And in my homemade bread recipe, I go over both ways. The way that I always did it before I got the newer model with the proof feature, which I love, by the way, is I would do it with dehydrate and I would cover the bread with a damp towel. Now, some people have said that that's causing issues with their bread. When they take the towel off, it's like sticking to the dough. So another option would be to use the dehydrator lid, but cover the upper part of the pot. So the top of the pot, cover it with foil so that you're not getting the fan going down. That's what's drying out the bread. It's not really the heat so much because it's such low heat, but it's the fan, the air being circulated around it. So cover the top with foil. You're still going to get the heat. It's going to go pass through the foil. It's going to be fine. And you can proof bread that way if you have dehydrate. And I believe I use 105 degrees and that works fine. If you don't have dehydrate, then you can turn the bake setting on at 250 degrees for just about 5 minutes and then open up the lid, let some of the heat out so that it's not too hot. And then you can put your dough in to proof. You just have to make sure that the pot is not too hot when you put the dough in. And then you just close it up and the residual heat will proof the bread. So that's two ways to do it. The actual instructions are on my bread recipe. Okay, let's see. Olga. Hang on. Let me mute. All right, all good. That was Jeff, and he has taken the dogs out. He's supervising them. Don't worry. All right. Do you think cooking bacon on the skewers, like threading it, would work? I just got the skewers for the Ninja Foodie, just looking for cooking more amounts of bacon at once. Yeah, I think people do that all the time, so I don't see why it wouldn't work. Um, I think it's a little bit of work to get them threaded through, but yeah, it should be fine. You just don't want the pieces touching each other, so the bacon needs to be kind of, uh, fanned out a little bit, because if it's too accordion, so if you kind of skewer it close together, the pieces that are touching are not going to get the equal heat and air distribution, so they're not going to cook at the same time. So you're going to have pieces of undercooked bacon with your well-cooked bacon. Okay. I got the Smart Lid 8-quart to do proofing and baking. I would like to make the cabbage rolls in one. Is there a difference in time? No, there shouldn't be any difference in time, and everything should be fine. The cabbage rolls, I'm just going through that recipe real quick in my head. You put the thing down, and it's pressure cook. I don't think you're going to have any issues with that. The only thing you might want to do is add a couple more tablespoons of water, or broth, whatever liquid I use a couple more tablespoons, because it's the 8-quart. So and with the 1-lid models, I think it does release more liquid than the 2-lid models do when it's coming to pressure. I think it takes a little bit longer and does a little more evaporation. And just because that one has the cabbage on the bottom and you really don't want it to burn, or you're going to get that water notice, I would probably just put a little more liquid in, just a little bit though, because you don't want your sauce at the end to be too liquidy. And whatever, I say water, but I think I might use chicken broth. So just use a little bit more, not too much, just a little bit more. Hi, Leslie. How are you? Hi, Melba. How are you? Oh, okay. So maybe I misunderstood you then, Larry. So you have a recipe someone gave you for the combi, but you don't have the combi. You have the speedy. What can I do to use the recipe? That depends on the recipe, because it depends on how the combi's set up, whether or not in that recipe, where they're baking, what their levels are. But you should be able to follow it pretty closely in the speedy. So if whatever is on the top level would be on the top level of the combi, whatever's on the bottom would be on the bottom level. And pretty much the functions are interchangeable. So if it says to use, I think on the speedy, it's steam crisp. So if it says steam crisp, you'd use combi crisp. If it says steam bake, you'd use combi bake. Okay. All right, let's see. Hi, Louise. New to your YouTube channel and Facebook groups. Well, welcome. My OL 701 arrived today, and I have a top round roast I want to make. What method do you suggest? Dehydrate, steam, and crisp. Well, probably steam and crisp would be, if you wanted to try that function out. That would probably be my go-to. But with the top round, you could also do the method. And even with steam crisp, I would probably do this method where you go at a high heat for a short period of time, shut it off, and let it cook with the residual heat. So on my website, I think I use broil, which is grill in the UK or on the European models. I do a high broil, because broil is like 425 or 50 degrees on the Ninja Foodie. I think it's 450, they say. So I do that for 20 minutes and then just turn it off and let it sit another 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. And then it's perfectly cooked. Okay. But in the steam and crisp, I believe that temperature goes up to 450. So I would probably try that and do the crisping time for maybe 10, 15 minutes, depending on the size of your roast. Okay. Because again, it depends. And then, so you'll have the steam to kind of keep things moist, and then the dry heat will create that crust on the outside and lock in all the juices. So I think that would be a good choice. I haven't done a roast that way yet, but hopefully soon. Okay, I know I'm way behind because of all that fiasco. Well, hello, practical outdoorist. How are you? Well, thank you so much. That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. That's wonderful. Hi, Jolene. How are you? All right, Jane V. Combi or Speedy? Which one would you choose? I'm gonna have to go with the Combi. The Speedy is a lot like the Foodie, and I love the Foodie, right? But I have the Foodie, and I love the Foodie. The Speedy is just kind of a smaller version without pressure cook, and I find it not to be like my go-to. I wanted to love it. I know a lot of people love it. And if you cook just for one or two people, I could see that would be like the appliance to have. But the Combi to me does more. And it does the same stuff, right? But it does it a little bit better. It actually does some things better than the Foodie, which, I I have to admit, that's the truth. Like, I did meat pies, which meat pies for me are like a pasty. So it's like think of a pie crust with like I did mine with like beef stew inside, which really wasn't beef stew, but all the ingredients you put in beef stew. So think about that. And then I did it with air fry. I did it in the oven. I did it with steam crisp and the Foodie, and I did it with combi crisp. And the combi crisp was the best because of the way that it is rectangular. And so the shape of it makes a difference in air circulation. So what's happening now, what the one downside of the Foodie a lot of times when you're making bread or like this kind of a pie crust thing is that even in the basket, the underside does not get as crisp as you might like. So you have to flip it over, right? So I do a lot of flipping in the Ninja Foodie. In the Combi, I don't have to flip anything. So I love that. And that's just because of the way the air circulates around because of the shape of it. So Combi all the way for me. I said this a couple weeks ago. And then, of course, I always add one or two more because really I use so many of the Ninja appliances together to create a meal, right? So I might use the blender to blend up the sauce. I might use the Foodie to do one part of it. I might use the Combi to do the bread, right? So like if I had to pick, if I wanted to pressure cook something, and of course you can convert pressure cooking recipes over to the Combi and not pressure cook because you can use the steam bake function and get that moist heat and stuff. So you can make it work. But I would just pressure cook in the Foodie and then I would make the bread in the Combi. That would be my thing. But I do love the Combi. I love the Combi, the wood fire grill. Although he made me mad. He made me mad this weekend. Was it the weekend? What is that? What is that? I got a new microphone.
It's not the microphone, it's the microphone arm. So it doesn't mess with the camera.
Why is it sent here though?
Because I just grabbed the box.
Oh, I see. Oh, he's got a new, come over here and show them this thing. This is for when we do the videos, not for lives or anything. But look at this thing. I mean, like
it's hard to see it. Oh,
like he says, that just holds the microphone.
So this goes to the ceiling, and then I can put the microphone anywhere I want.
That's crazy.
And not mess with my camera.
Hi, Gussie. You gave everybody a big scare today, including your mommy, your bad mommy.
What do you want to like here?
Well, I don't really know. So what happened is I was going to do what I always do and let all three dogs out before I go live. So I start about 20, 30 minutes before I go live. Well, and this is here, you guys can hear me explain to my husband how I lost our dog. But I came across this YouTube video and I will tell you guys who it is. So I'll give him a shout out because very seldom do I find videos that I like. The name of the channel is Matthew James Duffy. And I listened to a podcast with him on it today. And so I wanted to check out his video. So I got all involved. He makes bread. I love making bread. He's better at it. And he's a trained chef. So I know I can learn some things. So I was watching his video and I forgot, Jeff. Forgot that Gus was outside. So I go live. I never let the other two dogs out. I go live. Everything's fine and dandy. And I hear Gus barking outside. So I'm like, and then I go and I let Gus in. Well, I go to let Gus in, but then Gus isn't barking. And then the neighbor across the street, the crotchety guy, I kind of hear him a little bit. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. So And I don't know where he went. He wouldn't come in. I mean, it was a big thing. Like I had some people leave me. Like they didn't even want to watch the live because I said I wasn't going to go look for him. Because,
Oh,
how can I go look for him? I mean, he's this big in a world this big. He'll come when he wants to come. But anyway, so I think I upset some people, but we're all good. We're all good. It's life. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. So, Leanne, what is your feeling about cooking with a thermometer? Getting a lot of people who say they can cook perfectly without it. Well, I'm one of those people that can cook perfectly without a thermometer. So if people can cook perfectly without a thermometer, then don't get a thermometer. It's fine with me. I don't care. However, if your food's not turning out well, if you're overcooking it, if it's dry, if you're having issues with it, then get a thermometer. If you are immunocompromised, I probably would get a thermometer just to make sure that you're bringing up, your food's up to what they should be, right? But yeah, I am not one of those people that thinks that everybody needs to have a thermometer because it does make it easier. But sometimes, I'll be honest with you, sometimes checking the temperatures on things, I second guess myself, my gut, and I don't know. Before I started writing recipes for a living, I didn't even have a thermometer. So I never used a thermometer. It never even occurred to me that I would need a thermometer. Like I went by smell, looks, experience a little bit. And I just knew when to pull things out. And I always had perfectly cooked chicken, and I always had perfectly cooked pork, and I always had perfectly cooked food. Steak, though, that wasn't always my thing. I didn't always have perfect steak. Now with the thermometer, I'm closer to having perfect steak. But honestly, I would rely on sous vide for perfect steak if I needed to make the absolute perfect steak. So yeah, that's my feeling. My feeling is do what you feel comfortable doing. But if your food isn't turning out, then having a thermometer is a good investment because it will teach you what to look for. Like, oh, so now the temperature, this is what the chicken looks like when it's 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, this is what the chicken looks like when it's 142 Fahrenheit. Now, I can if I cut into chicken and color does not matter. So let's dispel that myth right now. So the red, pink hues in meat, pork, beef, chicken, are myoglobin. It is not blood. It is not anything. It's myoglobin. Okay. So checking or going by the color of the inside of the meat is not going to work. However, if you have undercooked chicken, you can see it's shinier, right? So you can tell. But I never have. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I have like chicken karma or something because I've always made good chicken. Anyway, my feeling is do what you feel comfortable with. But again, if your food isn't turning out, then you have to look and say, okay, let me invest in a $10 thermometer and find out. And it's only going to make you better. Okay. So having a thermometer is never going to make you worse unless you obsess about it. Because that's another thing. You can obsess about these things. And every time you open up the door to the oven or anytime you open up the foodie when it's cooking, you're letting heat out. So you're slowing down the cooking process. Anytime you stick a probe in a piece of meat, you're creating an escape hole, right, for juices and stuff. So we can't be in there poking, like making it look like a porcupine. Okay. But it can be helpful. That's my take on it. Many people will disagree. Okay, so Linda, yeah, great. So she has the combi and she's learning the new recipes, and she has the foodie and the XL grill, and she loves them all. Awesome. Awesome. I think those are 3 good choices to have too. Although I don't use my XL grill that much, the indoor grill. I just don't. I hate cleaning it. I say that all the time. I just cannot stand cleaning it. All right, let's see. George, we're back to the valve. I was making your 4-year-old stew recipe. I think it's a manufacturing issue because it's always done it. A light tap with a knife always frees it, making me think oil or something is trapped. That's interesting. So cleaning it doesn't work. Huh. Yeah, I'm not sure what to tell you because cleaning mine's always worked. I've had the issue, but cleaning it's always worked for me. So if it's always done it and cleaning it doesn't work, then yeah, sounds like something might be out of alignment just a touch, right? So if you're mechanically inclined, George, take it apart. Take pictures though, so we could all see. Especially getting it back together, right? All right. All right. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go down here so we can get this. There's the kitty on the pool table. Yeah, they love playing pool or playing on the pool table, I should say. Um, all right. Hi, Tony. How are you? Okay, so Kat wants me to explain what the combi is. So I can't show and tell because I don't have it here, so I can't even like take my computer over and show it to you. But it is basically so if you know the flip oven and the XL oven, it's in between those two sizes. It's a little bit bigger than the flip oven. I think it's just about as wide, but I could be wrong about that. But it's also like a little bit taller, but it's not as tall as the XL oven, which I wish it was. That would be great, but it's not. It's a little bit shorter. So the cubic cooking space is probably not any more than the foodie, but it's rectangular. It looks like an oven. It's sharp looking, really. I mean, it's a nice looking appliance. And it does all the things that the foodie does, except it doesn't pressure cook, but it does it on layers. And it comes with a tray, a nice heavy duty dark tray that goes on the top. So you could put your proteins on the top. You could still put pasta and stuff in the pot in the bottom. And you can do what's called combi meals, which are similar to speedy meals, which are kind of a takeoff of a 360 meal that we make in the foodies, where you can make all parts of your dinner at the same time. But of course, those things need to be thought out if you're not following one of their recipes. And some of the recipes people are having like a little bit of issues with, like they're overcooking the stuff. So take recipes as a guideline, but not as an absolute, because again, it depends. There's variables. Like I saw in a Facebook group today that one lady was making chicken on the top, and then I think she had pearl couscous in the bottom, and her chicken was overcooked. Now, I don't know for sure if it was overcooked. It looked a little bit dark in places, but that looked like it was from the marinade maybe. When I saw it sliced, I couldn't see totally inside, but it wasn't like shriveled up, dry, terrible looking. So I'm not really sure what went wrong, but for her, it was overcooked. So she was asking, do I lower the heat and stuff? And yes, probably, because you got that marinade on there, which is going to burn a little bit. And it did on the tray, and that tray can be a little bit of a pain to clean. But anyway, I digress. So that's basically what the combi is. It's like a little steam oven, basically. You can use it on dry functions. You can use it on wet and dry functions at the same time, which is the combi functions. You can steam in it. You can, let's see. I know it doesn't have a yogurt function, but you can make yogurt. I'm going to do that. I'll do that video soon. You can make yogurt in it. You can make bread in it. You can make any kind of pastas and stuff with proteins up at the top. So there's a lot you can do with it. It's a very nice appliance. It's very nice. Jeff, you're on camera. Are you in your pajamas?
No, it's sweatpants.
All right. So let's see. Okay, so wanted to give Louise an update on the jalapeno cheddar pretzel bites. Came out super yummy, but with the time, expense, and mess involved, it me thinks I'll let the old Chicago continue to make them for me. I understand that, Carol, but I'm glad they worked out. Okay, Ron wants to know, do I grill in the summer? So I have never been a griller. I have been a smoker, so I will smoke a lot of meat because I own a barbecue restaurant, but I've never been a griller. Jeff does more of the grilling if we grill, but we don't even like have a traditional grill. So I have the Woodfire XL, and then what's that other thing called with the flat top? Blackstone, which is not really a grill. I guess you could use it as a grill if you put grill grates on it, but it's more of a griddle. So I don't actually have a grill. So the answer would be no, I don't grill in the summer, but I do smoke meat all year round. All right. So Kat, the Speedy is a smaller version, square. So this is square. It's a square version of the Ninja Foodie, but it doesn't pressure cook. So, hi Elise, how are you? All right, Cindy, is there a trick to cleaning the top tray of the combi? I just said it's hard to clean. Well, for some things you could use parchment, which would make cleaning very easy, but you got to watch what your temperatures are going to be. Make sure you trim any excess parchment. You don't want it to be flying up because that tray sits kind of high up, right? It's close to the heating element. So you got to be a little bit careful there. I use, what is that stuff we use? Dawn Power Wash.
Yeah.
But honestly, just soaking it. And like if you like I did something, I forget what it was, but I did something with like a sugary marinade, right? Like it was salmon or something like that, some kind of fish. And so it had like an Asian kind of sugary marinade to it. And it burned like crazy. And I had to soak it for a while. And then I've got these scrapers that come with my Pampered Chef stoneware, and I just kind of scrape it off. It's a pain though. I'm not going to even try to hide that. It's a pain. But the rest of the oven's really easy to clean. All right. Oh, Jeff, will you take the ribeye out of the pot? It is soaking in cold water and it should be thawed all the way now. And don't do this at home, right? And then salt and pepper it and then let it sit. Okay. Thank you.
That's a beautiful steak.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be good. I don't even know how I'm going to cook it yet, but we're going to cook it up. All right. Actually, you can thaw in cold water. It's perfectly safe. You can thaw things. I do quick thaws a lot. Okay. Let's see. All right. Love for Truth. Welcome. Hi, how are you? All right. Let's see. Hey, Ellen, funny. I was just saying to Jeff that I have not seen you in a while and that I should really send you a message to find out how you're doing. So good to see you. Hopefully you're still on because that was only 10 minutes ago. So maybe you are. All right. Hi, Faith. How are you? All right. Let's see. We're thermometers. I'm just going to go down here. So love for the truth. Pork is one of those things that is a little tricky to cook, and having a thermometer does really help. So yeah, pork, I agree with that 100%. Oh my gosh, Carol, I'm laughing. When the smoke alarm goes off, it's done. Who needs a thermometer? Right. Well, we want to avoid that. Kat says I have a meter thermometer. It's still in the box. Yeah, I've got what are those called?
ThermoWorks?
No, is it ThermoWorks? Yeah, ThermoWorks, and it's a Thermapen. Man, that thing is fast. I love it. I really do. Okay. All right. John's question of the night. Louise, for our newbies, can you explain why cakes don't cook in the center properly when using the foodie? Yes, I can. So if you're using, like, let's just say a regular cake pan, not a bundt pan, using a regular cake pan, and you're having issues with cakes or brownies or other batter type of dishes like cornbread, things like that, not coming out right because the top's getting done, even the sides, maybe even the bottom's getting done, but the center's totally raw. That all has to do with the way the heat circulates and heats from the outside in. And because it's such a small environment, you're getting a nice concentrated heat to the outside. We don't have as much heat loss in the foodie as we do in a bigger oven. So we are cooking a little faster. That's why it works so well. And that's why it works so well for air frying. But it sets the sides and the top and finish cooking them and can even overcook them, especially the top, before the center gets done because we didn't have even enough heating. So there's a couple things you can do. You can lower your temperatures. I go almost 75 degrees from what I would do in the oven. So lower your temperatures so that you go at a lower pace so it has time to cook all the way through before the outsides get too done and the top gets too done. Or you can use what's called a heating core or some sort of metal thing. That the heating cores are, they look like a flower decorating pin kind of thing. Got a flat, well, that's the top, but I turn them over and you could use that. So the bottom, the little flat disc goes on the bottom of the pan, and the little rod, it's very tiny. I mean, it's like probably the size of 2-3 toothpicks, maybe. I mean, it's very small, maybe even less than that. And you put those in the center. Depending on your pan size, you could put 1, 2, or 3. It just depends. But for 8 inches, an 8-inch pie pan in the Ninja Foodie, 2 would probably be okay, but you're not going to go wrong with 3. When you pull them out, you don't even know that they were there, really. You don't want them to go all the way through the top, though. So you do kind of want to get the shorter ones so that they stay and so they don't extend past, or you'll have a hole on the top of your cake, which is fixable if you're going to ice in it. Anyway, what those do is they carry heat from the bottom of the pot or the pan, and then heat that disc, and then the heat transfers up into the little pin that sticks into your batter, and that radiates heat. So you're getting the heat coming from the outside, and you're getting heat from these little pins on the inside. So you get more even bakes. Bakers have been doing this for years when they're doing big, like 10, 12-inch cake rounds that are almost impossible to get done in the oven and have an even bake. So they've been doing this for a long time. So we can do that in the Foodie. The other option is changing it over to a bundt pan, which has basically what a little center that's metal, and it's doing exactly the same thing. So you're cooking from the outside in and the inside out. So you get a much more even bake. So hopefully that answered the question, John. If you got a follow up, bring it on. All right. Let's see. Hi, Carolyn. How are you? All right. So Barb, I found on the combi to use the bottom pan and insert for all my cooking and seldom use the top tray. I also found that some very shallow pans work great, as it's just 2 of us. So I don't like using the deeper bottom pan. Yeah. I think there's a lot of things we're going to find out about the combi and ways that we can use it, in other than how it comes configured, in a perfect world, I wish that top tray could just come down a little bit. But even though there's 2 racks, and I don't have one here to even try it, but even though there's 2 racks, or 2 slots, there's some reason why it doesn't work if you're using a certain pan. Anyway, I don't have it, and I haven't worked with it enough to really be able to talk like off the cuff about it. So, all right. So Leanne says she's never had an issue cleaning the combi trays or pans. Dawn Power Rush. And don't forget, you can put them in the dishwasher. All right. Well, I'm glad you haven't, because I have had some trouble. But not enough to not use it, right? And inside, look, I've made a big mistake in the combi. And I boiled over milk. It was disgusting. It was all over the inside of this thing, all over. And it was easier to clean than any other appliance that I have. It was still, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I had puddles and puddles and puddles of this boiled over. I was making Alfredo, and I made a dumb mistake. That's all. I had pasta in there. I made a dumb mistake. And I learned from it, right? I know exactly what I did wrong. So I won't repeat that. But it was a disaster. I was like, oh, I'm never going to get this clean. But literally, it was easy. It was easy to clean. All right, let's see. All right. Hi, Nikki. Oh my gosh, it's so late in London, 2 a.m. I'm so glad you could pop in. Ninja 15 or 1 or Combi? Who do you love the most? Ninja 15 and 1. Yeah. If I could only take one appliance with me, and if I had to cook for the rest of my life in one appliance, it would be the Ninja Foodie 15 in 1, or any of them, really. It doesn't really matter, any of them. But I love that because I do like the function of the proofing and some other things. But yeah, I couldn't live without it because it does everything. Literally, it does everything, and it does everything well. Now, the Combi does a few things better, like bread. But that doesn't mean that I can't make great bread in the Foodie. So if I had to take one, it would be the Ninja Foodie still. I don't think there's going to be any appliance that is that versatile with doing all the things that the Foodie can do. All right. So Crystal, just curious, I bought some honey last week at the store. When I opened it, was completely solid. How do I fix this problem, or do I have to throw it out? Do not throw it out. It is crystallized. Now, depending on the type of container you have, you may have some issues getting it out of the container. I mean, you can put it in a warm bath and you can get it back to liquid. So you could do that. But another thing you can do is use it for whipped honey, and whipped honey is amazing. So if you didn't want to worry about putting it in the bath and warming it slowly up, don't like throw it in the microwave or anything, because chances are the plastic's going to melt. It's not a great idea for the honey. But if you could slowly warm it, and it will kind of come back to liquid. But what I found is once it crystallizes, it kind of never is the same again. So what I've been doing lately, because I always have like maybe a quarter of a bottle left and it crystallizes, right? So instead of throwing it out, I just hold on to it until I have enough. But it sounds like you already have enough, and then put it into a KitchenAid, or you could do it with a hand mixer, and you just put it in there and you just whip it. And I don't think you have to add anything. I think it's just literally. Jeff, do you remember when I made the whipped honey? Didn't I just throw the crystallized honey in there and just whipped it?
I think so.
I think that's all I did. And it turns out amazing, really amazing. Then you could add that whipped honey to some butter and make some whipped honey butter. Whoa. Let me talk about good, real good. All right. Jolene asked, what did Jeff bring you for dinner? So you guys are going to think we're crazy. So Jeff didn't bring me anything for dinner. I brought a ribeye home from work, and I did a quick thaw on it. Jeff is eating, what is it called? Carnivore?
Yeah.
I'm not in agreement with this. I mean, no vegetables. So, but anyway, what am I eating? Half of a ribeye tonight. No vegetables, no nothing. Oh, I might have some spinach in there, so I might be able to make myself a vegetable. But anyway, all right, let's see. And John's saying in Australia, it's whipped honey is called creamed honey. Yep, that would make sense. So George is saying water temp is the key to remove crystals from crystallized honey. I forget what the temp range is, but it's the key. So sous vide would be another option. I'm sure that you could do that. If you could get the right temperature. And I don't know what that temperature is either. We'd have to rely on Google for that. All right. Kat wants to know, do you have any videos using the Combi? Jeff, what did I use the Combi for?
Was it pretzel buns?
Pretzel buns. I used the Combi. Yeah. Did that go out already?
I believe it did.
Okay. Yeah, John, I wanted to hear about your renovation, how that's going. John's having his whole kitchen redone. It should kind of almost be done now, right? So crystallized honey is real honey and not processed honey. If it crystallizes, it's good. Yeah, but I don't like chunky honey. I like mine to be real smooth. So, all right, guys. Well, look, I'm going to jump off here so I can make the steak for Jeff and kiss my dog, Gus. Anyway, so thanks for hanging out with me. I know it was kind of weird today. Hi, Sonia. How are you? Okay, so let me answer this real quick. So I like Ghirardelli. is the chocolate that I use. I use their chocolate chips and I use their melting wafers. A lot of melting wafers taste terrible, but the Ghirardelli with the chocolate chips, with the dark chocolate chips, actually tastes pretty good. We are in Tennessee. That's what state we're in. I don't mind. I don't mind answering. Okay. All right. John's got the tiling to do. Okay, so we got an answer on the honey. It's 110 to 120 degrees. So sous vide would work for that. So that would be a way to do it. Hi, Linda. How are you? What was I in the middle of saying, Jeff? Were you listening to me? He wasn't paying attention. I was in the middle of saying something. What was I saying? I don't even remember. Before then, I went on to answer a question. Anyway, I know I was saying goodbye, but all right. So let me just say goodbye because I cannot remember what it was that I was going to say. I don't know. Anyway, I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, I was saying sorry about the debacle in the early part. I will make sure that I don't let my dogs out and forget about them before I go live again. That's for sure. But everyone's safe and sound. So anyway, all right, guys. So I'm going to go make the steak. I don't even know how I'm going to make it yet. So we'll see. We'll find out. All right. Love you guys. And I will see you. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think I'm going to be doing Tasty Tuesday next week. I think Jeff and I are traveling. So we're going to see my nephew. And we're going to be on the road. Like if I was already there, I'd be able to do it with him, but I won't be. I think we're going to be on the road. So look for some announcements coming, but I'm fairly certain we have to cancel next Tasty Tuesday. All right, guys, but I'll be back in 2 weeks for the Q&A. And it'll be March. So start thinking about what recipe you're going to make in March. That is something you've always wanted to make, but haven't quite done it yet. And if you need help, send me an email. I'm happy to help. Bye, everybody. Have a great night. And I will see you soon. And I might go live with my nephew because I usually do, but I haven't talked to him about it. So I don't want to make sure. Yeah, George. I love that. Yes. On the road to see the real chef in the family, my little nephew. So I haven't talked to him about it. So I don't know what his plans are, anything like that. So, but I have a feeling that we'll go live probably one day during the weekend. So, but it would have to be Saturday because we leave on Saturday. So it would have to be, it would have to be Saturday morning. So anyway, so maybe we'll do some kind of a little breakfast. But anyway, I'll try to let you guys know ahead of time, okay? By putting it up like we're going to go live. All right. Love you guys. See you soon.